Dancing has always been my passion. I don't think there's anything else that I do that I'm passionate about. Is my outlet. It was my source of freedom. I am Carlos Irizarry. I'm from the Bronx. I'm Puerto Rican. I am the middle child of 3 siblings, and I am a dancer, choreographer, and a model. My parents are originally from Puerto Rico. They were born and raised there and came to the States in their early 20s. My dad is from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, and my mom is from Juanadilla, Puerto Rico, a little small town outside of Ponce. My parents met playing Frisbee, where I grew up at, in the Bronx. I grew up in a very Puerto Rican home, listening to salsa music every Saturday morning. My dad actually had a huge vinyl collection where he would play a lot of Temptations and Aretha Franklin. I grew up in a very eclectic home with very different genres of music. Salsa and Spanish music in general being the main focus of the music we grew up at home. First moments I think about of dance, I think about having conversations with my mom. And she said when she was pregnant with me, she was always dancing all the time. She was dancing salsa, merengue. She was like the life of the party. My grandmother was the same way. As far as I can remember, we always had a very festive home. We always, as a family, got together for the holidays. Christmas was huge in my home. My mom would always put me in Sweet 16s and weddings. She said I used to love being a part of Sweet 16s because, you know, in Sweet 16s, there's always somebody choreographing a number, and I always loved to dance. But she used to mainly say I used to go to, birthday parties, and I was always on the dance floor, just dancing all the time. Whether it was like nobody on the dance floor, I was always started, and then people would trickle in and dance, and then my brother would come in. But I always danced all the time. When I hit junior high school, I was a part of a dance team. And then high school, Ms. Rosado became my teacher in the performing arts department, and she kind of developed me. But in that process of being in high school, I also met my mentor, Anthony Rodriguez, who really molded me to the dancer that I am today. He took me under his wing, and dancing has always been my passion. I don't think there's anything else that I do that I'm passionate about. Is my outlet. It was my outlet when I was going through a lot of personal things, in school, being bullied all the time. It was just my outlet. It was my source of freedom, and it still is to this day. I feel like a lot of the bullying not only happened in school, but it also happened in the same place where I lived, where I was just surrounded by straight men who didn't. Now that I understand how you grew up in your environment, you are a product of your environment and how you grew up. And so a lot of these guys didn't grow up with parents teaching them how to respect somebody that was different. It was very tough, especially in elementary school. You're like, this is the moment in time in your life where you're supposed to be enjoying school and enjoying yourself, But it wasn't like that for me. Sorry. It's funny because when I moved here in 2014, you would think that you would move to Los Angeles and it's an easy thing. It is not for the faint of heart. I moved to LA without an agent, and so when you don't have an agent, it's harder to find work. I started teaching at studios in LA little by little, and then my first opportunity was dancing with Fergie. After that, I started dancing with Ariana Grande, and then trained her a little bit, and then just started getting gigs with Sam Smith. And then jobs just started circulating, just commercials with McDonald's, Pepsi. Got on stage with Estelle. Work just started flowing. Voguing is, if we all remember Vogue by Madonna, it's a dance style that was created in the 60s and 70s in Harlem, and is a depiction of models striking poses. It's a style of self-expression dating back to hieroglyphics and popping and locking and a lot of underground street styles that was created by an individual who was a pageant. Her name was Crystal LaBeija. It was born in New York City, And so a friend of mine introduced me to it and took me to Harlem. And it was my first experience coming across like gays in movement. I was obsessed. Fast forward, I became the voguing liaison of LA. The top of 2022, I get an email, and it's an NDA I have to sign. I don't know who it's from. A couple of days later, it's a NDA from Parkwood to be one of the main contributing choreographers to Beyonce's visuals for the voguing portions of a lot of the songs that she had out. And we heard she was dropping Renaissance, and it was dedicated to her uncle, who was gay, who was a fashion stylist. And he was also a part of the ballroom community. And it was meant for me to be a part of the message of that tour and what it stood for, what the album stood for, what the song stood for. Until her main choreographer, Chris Grant, who's been working with her for a long time, came across Legendary, saw me, loved my story, and decided to bring me on board. And I was a part of that whole entire album. Before vocals were on it, I saw the birth of that album, and so it's a very personal album for me. What I bring to the dance floor is self-expression. What I bring to the dance floor is vulnerability. What I bring to the dance floor is experience. To be able to share my story and to be able to showcase it through my choreography, to showcase the next generation that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter where you grew up, it doesn't matter your circumstances in life. What you love and what your passion is can take you outside of the negativity that you grew up in, and you can turn that into positivity and just inspire the world and just continue to spread love.